Hey Homeworthy, I'm Sissy. Welcome to my home in Bloomfield Hills. Why don't you come on in and I'll show you around.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Before today's episode, click the join button below to support all of the storytelling we do on this channel. Our growing community of members help to directly fund more videos so we can capture these extraordinary homes from around the world. So join today to receive early and exclusive access to new Homeworthy videos.
Hi, I'm Sissy Yellen. I am an interior designer based in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, a lovely suburb of Metro Detroit. I live here with my husband Brandon and our 4 children. I found this home in 2018. I saw a quick exterior shot of it and told my husband that it was my dream home. It was removed from the market before I could even blink, and I mourned that loss for about a year. And one day I woke up in 2019 and all of a sudden it was back on the market. And I ran here as fast as I could and toured the house a few times with my husband and our then baby. And it was just love at first sight. I had to be here. Welcome to our foyer. Our home is over 100 years old, so it has a lot of features right here in this room that are courtesy of that time period. There's original plaster molding, which I absolutely love. It's probably been painted 24 times now, but it's just so beautiful. The staircase is original and just like made with such craftsmanship. So it's just really, really enjoyable to walk into the home and see this much character right off the bat. Our front door is also original, and I sort of like to pepper the space with little modern touches, like our photographs of the Hudson River Valley and some modern pattern play. So I find myself staying up very late now that I have children and doing some online antique hunting. So the art is courtesy of those late nights. And the terracotta dog is something that my husband and I picked up when we were traveling to Palm Beach. And my beautiful myrtle topiaries, which I'm not a good mother to, and I often have to change them out. Our main entry table is actually sort of funny. This is a fabric that I switch out maybe like once a year. It's the first thing that I see when I walk in, so I always want to make sure that it's fresh and making me happy. I like to combine different colors like woven through my main color palette in the house. So the yellow is bright and sunshiny. I love it. I also love the way that it sort of pairs with this antique bench that I had reupholstered. This is one of my favorite fabrics of all time. It's a Brunswick and Fee fabric. I'm a big fan of Brunswick and Fee house. Really historical, beautiful textiles. And a mirror that I actually procured locally. I love pairing contemporary photography and artwork with really traditional antique pieces. So my husband and I actually saw these when we were traveling. We were in Long Island, and the photography is of the Hudson River Valley. So I just thought it was so cool to bring back a literal piece of our travels there. Okay, come on, let's go see our powder room. People often have a hard time finding it. I love the use of space underneath the staircase. I feel like it makes for a really quaint powder room. So I had the whole room wrapped in this historical wallpaper from Clarence House titled The Vase. It's been in production forever and ever and ever. In this bright sunshiny yellow. I feel like it just makes me smile when I walk in. I also had this marble integrated sink console fabricated to fit the space perfectly. I just like love the way that it's like modernity pairs with the super traditional essence of the paper. And I often say that I don't think rooms should be left without a monogram. So that's our powder room. My favorite part of our home is probably the foyer. There's two huge elements, well, actually three huge elements to the foyer that are original to the house and have not only age but patina, and I call it like sort of damage that relaxes me. So when you're living in an old home, there's a lot of imperfections, and I feel like right off the gate when I see the imperfections in the 100-year-old door and the plaster molding and the staircase, it just makes me feel comfortable. There's just a lot to be said about feeling relaxed, and that comes, I think, with a little bit of patina. Okay, I'd love to show you our dining room. Come on. Welcome to our dining room. This room is an eye catcher right off the foyer. I had it lacquered in one of my favorite Farrow and Ball colors, pink ground. And we have a huge family, so big table is a must for me. I entertain a lot, pretty casually most of the time. So I just love like how comfortable the chairs are, and people can just roll in and out. Performance fabric, because there's always a lot of kids at my house. And I sort of just, again, love pairing like a super modern light fixture with extremely traditional antique trestle table. I feel like it's very inviting. Another thing that I love about the dining room is the original fireplace. So I think it's sort of unique to have a fireplace in a dining space. We have 4 young kids, so we don't ever light it, but it's something that I dream about one day. Over here, I have a curio cabinet that I found in one of my travels to the South. I also have been collecting these Staffordshire dogs for quite a while now. I think it's sort of fun to curate collections that can grow. I feel like when there's mass collections, it sort of contemporizes, you know, little oddities like that. So something that I come in here and look at frequently. In my spare time, I like to paint. So this is something that I painted. It sort of inspired the color palette through most of the first floor of the house. I'm a big fan of ink and figure gesture art. I picked up these pieces from Wayne Cunningham late at night on an online auction. This was actually a very special gift from a friend of mine. So I keep it right here so I can look at it every day. Over here, one of my favorite fabrics here from Quadrille, Bali High. It's been in production for a long time. Also, this España chest, which was actually produced by Kindle, native to Michigan, and designed by Dorothy Draper, who was one of the first like really charged female interior designers in the country. So I think it's just very special to me. I do enjoy really like boisterous floral arrangements, but I don't enjoy them when I'm trying to talk to someone across the table. So I do like to keep it low when we're eating, and loud and boisterous where I can, hence the big plant pedestals and this large arrangement here. Essentially, no party is a small party here. We're all over the place. I have a table set for 8 in our kitchen, and we have seating in our sunroom, and we're pretty much just wall to wall everywhere in the house. So I would describe my style as new traditional. There's definitely a lot of color, and I love antiques and contemporary art. I love collections. I have a couple different collections that I'm really interested in. I like comfortable also. That's a big component of my home style and how I approach design here. One of my favorite rooms in the house is actually our sunroom. I feel like it's a super unique space. It's really bright, it's super inviting. We use it all the time for a million different reasons, and we especially like to use it for our overflow entertaining. So let me take you back there. So welcome to our sunroom. Like I mentioned before, we use it for a multitude of different reasons. We just actually had this sofa made by a dear friend of mine. It's featuring one of my favorite patterns by Schumacher. We also use this space a lot for different entertaining, so I thought it would be fun to have a table and a banquette that people can eat at, but also just a resting place for objects and different things that have my curiosity at the moment. This amazing place to put a really stellar floral arrangement is nice to have, and sort of like a place to throw mail and hang out and just relax. So over here also is a broader sense of my my china collection, well, cabbageware collection. I just love the way that you can really see all the different pieces. They have so much texture to them, and the shapes themselves, which is sort of unique when it comes to place settings and different serveware. So the shapes themselves are so unique. So I just love having them displayed and mixed in with some contemporary art. I feel like it sort of embodies my my personal style. All right, so behind us is our living room, and I want you to come on in. So this space, started off kind of a little bit on the darker side. The previous homeowners, I think they wanted to set a moody environment, which was enjoyable. But I sat in here during the morning and during the day, and I thought to myself, wow, this space is covered in light. So I wanted to sort of bring that nature into the space, which led me to this pattern that you see on the walls and on the ottoman. It's a pretty iconic pattern by Brunswick and Fee called Bird and Thistle, and I feel like it sort of invites the woods that you see behind into the space and just sets the tone for the room. Having kid-friendly upholstery, super big to me. This day bed that my dog just absolutely loves to lounge on. So, who could complain with a view like that as a golden retriever? So we just really enjoyed in here as a family, all of us. The rug, I actually needed it to be super durable. So my friends at Stark, they sent me a sample of this right when they started a new line of fibers, our new line of rugs made with a really durable fiber called polypropylene. So this was pretty huge for me, and the way that technology has sort of changed our decisions in terms of like home furnishings and fibers, and increasing the durability of them is pretty important to me. Again, one of my idols, Bunny Williams, designed this hourglass side table, which I think is really striking. There's just so much beauty to it between the shape, the gilding, the creme marfil top. I just love it. I feel like it's a really unique piece for the space. My kids often hang out on this little bench here with the bench cushion, which I think is super fun to have in our family room. I sort of claimed the built-in space here with some of my collections. I was antiquing in Michigan and thought that these little mini rocking chairs were really unique and interesting, so I started collecting them. So I like to feature them amongst some different books and candles and artwork that I've been finding over the years. Again, more of my little antique oddities and whatnot, and big, beautiful coffee table books that I hope one day to have more time to read. And also this piece of art that my mother-in-law, Iris, who's so thoughtful, I walked into her kitchen one day and she was like, "What would you want to see on the kitchen counter when you walk into your house one day?" And she said, "What would make you really excited?" And I said, I thought about it for maybe like 30 seconds before I said, "A bag of ripe peaches," because I think it was like the middle of January or something in Michigan. And, something really money couldn't buy at that moment. And so she commissioned this piece for me, and I just thought it was like one of the most thoughtful things in the whole world. So I love it. We live in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. It is a quaint suburb of Metro Detroit. There's a lot of nature, a lot of beautiful historical homes, definitely just a lot of, it's just an interesting place to live. Okay, so speaking of entertaining, I'll take you over to our kitchen slash family room, which is pretty much, I guess, the heart of everybody's home. So come along. This is our family room. We spend so much of our time in here. It's right off of the kitchen and the eat-in. So with 4 little kids running around, it's important that I have a super durable rug. So we're standing on a very old wool rug, which I absolutely love. I feel like it's like not a color that's often used in design more recently, but I love yellow. It just makes me happy. Over here, just the room itself, it has so much going on. So I like to keep my built-ins a little subdued in here. Oftentimes there's toys all over the place. So I feel like having like a curated, simple, built-in styling situation sort of helps bring a little sense of peace to the space. And I love reading magazines, so that's what I'm doing when my kids are playing and they're giving me a break for a moment. So, having a soft ottoman here is just so comfortable. This is definitely the most used seating in our home, so having, durable, interesting seating that's good for conversation is huge for us. The chairs were actually one of the first pieces that I bought for the space. They were from a company that was up and coming at the time, Society Social. Now they've just absolutely exploded. They use traditional framework and upholstery methods down in North Carolina, which is where most of my furniture is from. And, they're just very well built, and we enjoy them so much. Bunny Williams is one of my idols. I read her books cover to cover pretty often. So this is one of her lamps, which I absolutely adore. And I have some more interesting figure drawings hanging on the wall over here, and wicker woven items are a big part of my home. I feel like that's sort of an element that I like to use a lot in design because it relaxes, and it's also so useful. I mean, my kids have so much stuff. So I also have a little wicker baby bassinet for our 6-week-old baby right now. So I sort of love having something that feels like an element of our house when it's, you know, comes to the kids' stuff. Okay, so the reason why we spend so much time in this seating area is because it is right off of where we also spend a lot of time, our kitchen table. So having 4 kids, super important to have some durability. Oftentimes I have a table linen on this baker table with a beautiful inlay. I try to protect it as much as I can. But there's also some modern, exciting pattern going on here. I had this Schumacher linen vinylized so that I can just wipe it clean when my kids are done making a huge mess, and it makes for happy kids, happy mom. The chairs themselves are Frances Elkin's reproduction chairs. Very hard to find a set of real Frances Elkin's chairs and with such a large quantity. So I thought it was just like a fun little interesting shape to have in the space. I very rarely buy pieces of art sight unseen without thinking much of it. This was just from a local boutique down the street. The architecture itself in here really draws your eye, the barrel ceiling down. So I felt like whatever was here needed to speak to the color palette and just the general feeling. My kids often ask me if this is a portrait of mommy. So I just really like it. It's very innocent, and I love the colors. They're like very happy. I live here with my husband, Brandon. We've been married for about 10 years now, and we have 4 children. We have 3 girls and a baby boy that was born 6 weeks ago. We also live here with our golden retriever, Porky, who is a lovely addition to our family. And yeah. So I think the most inspiring things to me is sort of traveling and also just getting to know people and how they live in their homes. I feel like that is such a crucial part of how to make a house a home. I love traveling with my husband throughout the country, on the East Coast. We love antiquing, staying at old homes, bed and breakfasts, and sort of gathering inspiration that way. Now I'll show you the kitchen. Welcome to our kitchen, the true heart of our home. We spend so much time here. I would say probably the best perk of traditional design is how it's so timeless, and it's very hard to show its age almost. So oddly enough, the perimeter of our kitchen is, I think, almost 15 years old. The previous homeowners installed most of it, and definitely the crown jewel of the space is the French range. I love the brass. I mean, the way that it patinas is so beautiful. Interestingly enough, before I was pivoting to interior design years ago, I was concluding my career as a professional chef. I was classically trained, went to culinary school right out of high school, so I spent a number of years cooking professionally, and so naturally I'm the chef in our house, so functionality, is very important to me. So I had this island installed. I had the cabinet maker recreate the same profile on the perimeter, blending for kind of, a seamless kitchen that's super timeless. I love marble. I am okay with the etching and the patina that comes with it. I feel like there's so much beauty in its nature. So, we sort of lean into the fact that it does lend itself with the imperfections that come with it. People always comment, I all day, every day have this candle on the center of my range burning from morning till night. It brings such a sense of calm to my house. People comment it every time they're over, which one do you have burning now? So I love the Voluspa line, and Baltic Amber is actually one of my favorites. So they last, about a month or two, and then I repurpose the glass for flower vessels. So when I'm designing kitchens for other people, it's such a personal point of reference for me to have like a beautiful view from the kitchen sink. I adore what I look at when I'm sitting here doing so many dishes every day, and I just sort of like love this ledge. I feel like it's like a safe space for like really delicate things in like the hustle and bustle of a really busy kitchen. So my husband and I actually found this in Florence, Italy. We missed our kids. We were on vacation without them, and it was just so beautiful and sort of reminded us of our children. So I carried it back. The kitchen, sitting room, eat-in nook was a little bit modified from the original floor plan. There was a slight addition added at some point in time. And I think the architect that myself and the previous homeowners both worked with did such a nice job at bringing the old characteristics from the foyer millwork into the renovation. This barrel vault ceiling I think, makes the space and sort of draws your eye up, which is important when you're in such like a utilitarian space where you're kind of just like focusing on what you're doing, to just like stop, remember, look around you, just appreciate beauty and millwork and architecture. It was so inviting. The exterior, when you pull up to the home, the symmetry does something to my brain. It just makes me feel at peace. That's what I love about colonials. And it was just surrounded by nature, also conveniently right off of the main road that we use throughout the city. So I fell in love with the positioning of it, and just how I felt like it was enveloped in its own little world. All right, let's head upstairs. So one thing I love about the staircase, aside from the original railing, is how wide it is. It's so nice. I walk up here oftentimes with all four of my kids at once, so it's super useful. At the top of our stairs, you will find yourself in this little sitting room. One of my favorite elements of design is wallpaper. My friends joke that I'm like the wallpaper queen that they know. This is one of my favorite patterns. It's a super exaggerated large scale mural by Schumacher. And I just find it to be absolutely fascinating. It features, just like really a lot of whimsy with just also a calming color palette. So I like to sit in here with my husband and talk about our day. These green chairs, I just thought they were sort of funky. There's something about them that I just was really drawn to. It's like a super unique frame style that I don't see very often. Green is such a huge repeating color throughout my home. And I just thought that they were sort of like modern and had like a lot of juxtaposition against this like extremely traditional wallpaper in here. So they were the perfect piece. So at the top of our stairs, there's not much room for furniture, so I like to create sort of an interesting story with different styles of art. So I have this sort of impressionistic painting that I did myself. And I'm a big fan of Casey Hughes, so this is one of her pieces, which I absolutely love. I also am very interested in intaglios and grand tour pieces. So these backed with linen and antique frames, I feel like it just creates an interesting story up here. My career as a designer was sort of accidental, and you know, I've always toyed with my spaces since I was a little kid. So that plays a huge role. I joke that my house is always evolving. I call it my my canvas, and it's sort of where I test concepts that I really want to explore. And it's just, you know, it's sort of like ever evolving, and I think that keeps it interesting, and I just really love it. Okay, so now I'm going to show you right off of our landing, my daughter's room. Welcome to my daughter's room. This room actually was previously designed in our first home, and I essentially recreated it when we moved because it was so special to me. It was my first daughter's room, and I put just like a lot of thought and care into it. This was about 7 years ago, so she loved it. My husband, you know, said there's something about this, and soon after, my business was born, creating nurseries and kids' rooms for other people. So that's how I got started in my second career as a designer. The starting point for this room was really this T-bow pattern that you see sort of everywhere. It's a coordinating wall covering and fabric that's since been discontinued. So, you know, it features just like a really whimsical site, and the color is just so bright and fun. So that sort of inspired the whole room. I always love to pair super traditional things with elements of modernity, something you find in all my projects and throughout my house. So that's where the hot pink comes in. And, you know, the rich velvet and the sort of modern pieces. So this is actually my daughter's crib. She is no longer sleeping in it. She's 6 years old. So we just keep it in here for, you know, little slumber parties for my kids. But anyhow, I think a really unique element to the space is this half-tester drapery, which was made by a friend of mine in California. She specializes in children's furniture and drapery, and she's super talented, so I always love collaborating with her. These brass dressers were found actually in downtown Detroit. We were at Eastern Market, and I popped into a little antique store next door, and I don't know if the man that had these for sale like even liked them much, but I had to have them, and I I just think that they're so unique. I struggled a lot with finding artwork at first when I was entering the children's design space, because it's hard to find content that's appropriate for children, but also have like a level of sophistication in the pieces. So I found this pencil drawing on an online auction, and I just thought that it was so innocent and sweet, and it's just like a moment, like from a content perspective, a moment that I really looked forward to, expecting my first child. So mini pianos, always a hot commodity amongst the toddlers. My husband and I joke that if we're looking for our 2-year-old who's like a little devious, and all of a sudden we start to hear, we know exactly where she is. All right, so we're gonna head through the Jack and Jill into my son's nursery. So this is my son's nursery. He is 6 weeks old, our 4th child, and the first boy. So I wanted to give him a really elegant room, but also, just something that he could grow up into. And I wanted to create some interest on the walls, so I added the molding, and I'm sort of waiting a little bit to see what he likes and what his interests are before I really like adorn the room with more detail for him. But I just feel like it's like a really great neutral palette. When you have such a big family, you tend to move in groups, so important to us to have kind of like a lounge element to our nurseries and our kids' rooms. So I had this day bed made. Another one of my favorite designers that I look to for a lot of inspiration actually created this bedding line recently with Castetex. Aaron Gates is the designer for the bedding. And another textile designer, Katie Ritter, recently collaborated with Wheezy, which produces really fresh traditional embroidered towels and home accessories, collaborated on this little blanket here that we had his name embroidered on. So the crib is sort of a sad point for me because it's our last crib that we're gonna have. And my friend Gail from California, who owns the AFK Children's Furniture Company, made it for me. I just think it's so beautiful and timeless, and I try to procure pieces that are like really heirloom quality. I hope that it goes to someone else one day, and that's sort of how I look at a lot of pieces that I procure for my clients as well. So the swivel chairs are made from Coley Home, which is another up-and-coming furniture maker that's really sort of like taking traditional framework and upholstery and sort of re-inspiring the process for designers. They offer like a lot of customization and super fast lead times. So when it came down to designing my child's room, I was sort of late to the game because I was super busy with my client projects, and Coley turned these chairs around for me really fast. So the shades in here I had made years ago, and when my other daughter was living in this room, and so scallop pattern is something that's sort of very current right now, but something that I've always loved. So I just feel like it adds an element of whimsy to a kid's space, and to be honest, I sort of even like it in adult spaces. I've essentially touched every corner of the house now. We did extensive renovations to the pool area because we entertain a lot. We throw together kids' birthday parties on a whim. We got renovated the whole master suite and built my studio most recently on site also. So right off of my son's room is our primary bedroom, so come along. Okay, so this is our primary bedroom. It really can just hit you right in the face. It is covered wall to wall and in a lot of upholstery with my favorite fabric of all time, my favorite textile, which is produced by Colfax and Fowler. It is a very historical pattern inspired by an estate in England. So there's just something about it that just like brings me such a sense of calm. My husband even likes it. So the whole primary suite was really inspired by this pattern, and again with like a contrasting shade of green that I felt brought some modernity to the pattern. So our bed is obviously a huge focal point in here. People always comment about how high it is because we like the dog to stay down. But anyhow, he's very cute, but he's very large. So the nightstands are Swedish reproductions, and it was very hard finding just the right size and the right height piece for such a tall bed, and with the drywall return. I love this little seating arrangement right off of the bed, sheared, girted vanity chairs. I just think that they're so sweet, and you know, white sofa is not super safe throughout like the main parts of our house, but we tend to get away with it in here. I also keep some special things in this antique break front, some things from our travels, some just personal mementos. So I like to have that right off of my side of the bed. A huge element in many of my rooms, professional and personal, are personalized linens and such. So nothing makes me more excited to come to bed at the end of the day, of a long day, than having this special bedding with the monogram, my husband and I. And I also really love the traditional cozy element of wrapping lampshades and making pleated shades out of like small scale patterns. So you'll see a lot of my lampshades have this sort of like block print. This one is made by Fermois, which is a textile company over in England. So I just love it. I feel like it brings a sense of coziness to the space. I'd love to show you my bathroom. All right, so this is our bathroom that we designed and got renovated. It was a really long project. It was during COVID. The original bathroom just was like maybe not really giving the full the picture of the home in itself. So we were incessant on using materials and design motifs that we felt like could have been used, you know, back when our house was built. So we're talking, you know, the floral motif in the mini hex tile. The use of natural stone was huge to us, and just sort of, you know, with the busyness and all the bath times that we do, having this like crown jewel piece to walk into and to sort of wrap the rest of the bathroom around was really huge in regards to space planning. I do think that our vanities often stop people in their tracks. They are a very unique color, but I feel like that's what brings like a lot of interest and character to the space. So I absolutely love them. Again, I found another little place to make the room more personal. So the hardware itself has our monogram engraved in it. The countertop material is actually a type of marble that people don't really use very often. It's called crema marble. I think it is so warm and unique. So it was a no-brainer to choose crema marble as the accent with all of the white marble. If you step over here, you enter into the shower. It's one of my favorite elements also. I love the window positioning and how there's natural light pouring in. It really helps us wake up in the morning, and we can, see the moonlight when we're going to bed after a long day. The tile work was really important to me. I love the classic element of the subway tile, but I did want to enrich it a little bit more. So my architect laid out this gorgeous fretwork pattern that I love, and I feel like it's just honestly probably the most beautiful design element in the whole space. It's inlaid with the crema marble again, so the two materials, really repeat themselves throughout the space and just makes for like a really cohesive experience. The lighting in this space actually has a funny story. The center fixture I picked up at a resale shop for literally $10. It was from a hotel renovation, a really stately hotel renovation that's nearby. And I don't know how it landed there, but I'm very grateful that it did, which left some room for these custom sconces by Colleen Ritter, based in LA. She powder coats them in custom colors, and I thought it was a great opportunity to, draw that color back up and have something really unique for the space. So right off of our bathroom are my husband's closet and my closet over here. And just a, fun thing to point out, I picked this carpeting pretty early on in the design process, and I knew I wanted some sort of decorative element introduced with the cabinetry. This really spectacular cabinetry maker, Cole Wagner, made these, and I just think that, everything about them, from the construction to the quality to just the fine details, are magnificent to me. So it's something that I look up and enjoy quite often. And then we have this little hallway into my closet. So this is my closet, and it's so happy in here. It's definitely a labor of love and a statement for the whole house. It's featuring, again, my color palette in the whole primary suite, which is Faro and Ball, Churlish Green, and Yearbridge Green. My cabinetry maker joked that he, quite honestly, has never thought of making cabinetry in this color combination, but I just think it's so fun. And, still timeless because it features, traditional patterning and profiles. So, functionally speaking, it's holds more than I could ever dream of, and I just love it. So my favorite thing probably in my closet is this dress here, and I remember seeing it years and years ago, and I thought to myself, wow, that is extremely different, which is something that I identify with quite often. And this was before I had children, probably 10 years ago, and I thought to myself, when I found out I was expecting my first daughter, that I just like always dreamed of having this piece. So when I was expecting, I randomly stumbled upon it through a reseller and thought to myself, that's something that I'm just gonna have forever. Home means happiness. There's no place that I'd rather be than home with my kids and my husband, and nothing to do, and just like all the wonder in the world.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.